Ever wondered how love can change the world? Join us on a journey that's all about connection, creativity, and heart. Click to discover Smitten worldwide. I recently had the incredible opportunity to meet Smita Rajgopal, the amazing founder and global creative director of Smitten. With over 16 years of experience, Smita has worked with some of the biggest names in the world, from the United Nations to Walt Disney. Her expertise in branding and design, especially in the food and hospitality sectors, is truly impressive. But what blows my mind even more is how she's using her creativity to tackle a huge problem we all face. Curious to know more about her journey? Stay tuned to find out how Smita is making a real difference. Now let's dive deeper into Smita's story. From her thrilling projects to her thoughts on nurturing creativity in her team, you won't want to miss the amazing insights she has to share. Stay with us. Smita's startup, Smitten, is revolutionizing how brands communicate through creative design. She found that giving her talented team freedom and responsibility boosts their creativity, leading to fresh ideas. By being accessible to clients and understanding their vision, Smitten builds strong relationships. One key hack: don't wait for everything to be perfect. Just launch and adjust as you learn. If you're starting out, embrace feedback and be ready to pivot. Welcome to the Founders Show, the ultimate podcast for startups and visionaries. Today, we're thrilled to have Smita Rajgopal, the incredible founder, with us. At the Founders Show, we share and amplify stories to inspire over 100,000 listeners. Whether you're just starting out or scaling up, we help you connect and grow. So without further ado, let's get started. Hi Smita, this is Vats from the Founders Show. Thanks for joining this podcast, and I'm so glad to have you here with me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Let's dive right in. Can you tell me the name of your startup and the big problem you're solving?
So the name of my startup is Smitten. We are a graphic design studio and brand communication firm, and we're an international boutique studio. That the big problem that we solve is really communication. So based on what you're trying to communicate as a product or service to your audience, we help you solve that communication problem through design. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what we do. And we work, since we're across geographies, we work under really good timelines and costs. So we're usually really startup friendly, and a lot of initial founders are thrilled to work with us. And so we get to be part of the entire brand journey.
It sounds fantastic, Smita. I love how Smita is not just solving communication challenges, but also supporting startups with friendly timelines and costs. Being part of a founder's journey from the start must be so rewarding. What inspired you to start Smitten and focus on this niche?
Well, I think first of all, I don't think I necessarily call it a niche, just because we are really broad in our service offerings, and we handle the entire brand cycle, all elements of it. But the reason why I think I felt like there was a space for it was, um, I think agency culture is a little tough when it comes to the way talent feels within that workspace, because talent, I think, is the backbone really of what we do, right? It's the people that work for the organization that actually build it, because what are we selling? We're selling creative ideas, and that comes from people. So I think what inspired me was being able to create and cultivate a culture where talented creative people can thrive, and businesses can benefit from talent that commercial art brings in a business scenario.
That's such a thoughtful approach, Smita. Focusing on creating a culture where creative talent thrives while delivering impactful commercial art is truly inspiring. It's clear you value the people behind the work as much as the work itself. Was there a specific moment or experience that solidified your decision to start Smitten?
Well, first of all, I mean, we're not considered really a startup anymore. So I have to think back to what 16 plus years now that we've been in business to really delve into what that solidifying moment was. But I think, um, it, yeah, I don't know if there's just one moment I can think back on in time for landing on that, because I think I'm reminded of it every time I sit down with clients or I sit down with my team. Um, it's just rewarding to see the fun that people have when Monday comes along, and it's not just the start of another boring work week. It's something new to look forward to every week. Whether it's depending on the type of client or the type of project. I think it's just and nice to see people enjoying what they do.
That's wonderful, Smita. It's amazing to hear that even after 16 years, the excitement and passion within your team remains strong. Creating an environment where Mondays are something to look forward to is a huge achievement. How do you maintain that vibrant culture and keep your team motivated over the years?
I think autonomy is a big part, like giving people the ability to make choices without having to rely on large upper management, sort of chain of command. Um, Having people have that independence in thought and decision making maybe is one of those things, because creatives, I think, like to of course, have some structure within a brief, but also like to have that ability to know whether this is a project they want to work on or not, and play to each other's strengths. So I think there's a good sort of camaraderie that the team has, and the autonomy that they feel in being able to make choices along a workday.
That's such a refreshing approach, Smita. Giving your team autonomy and fostering camaraderie really shows your trust in their creativity and decision making. It must create a sense of ownership and pride in their work. How do you balance this autonomy with ensuring the projects stay aligned with your client's goals and vision?
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Of course. How do you balance giving your team autonomy while ensuring that their work stays aligned with your client's goals and vision?
Yeah, I think autonomy comes with a sense of responsibility. So the team themselves, or the individual in the team who's working on that particular project, because they feel that responsibility, the balance comes from within, because they're looking at the brief and making it, sure that since it's their responsibility, they need to deliver on it. So without having pressure, because at the end of the day, they do have the support of a team behind them. But the sort of onus and responsibility and sense of carrying that brief themselves, um, finds that balance in making sure they deliver something that's aligning well with the brief that the client has put forward.
That's a great perspective, Smita. Empowering your team with responsibility while providing a supportive safety net is such a thoughtful way to foster accountability and creativity. It sounds like your team thrives on this trust. Speaking of clients, how do you typically approach building strong relationships with them, especially across different geographies?
Yeah, I think one is always being accessible. I think that's something that we pride ourselves on, is because of the geography spread we have, somebody or the other is able to respond to clients in a timely manner, which I know in what we do, time is of essence, especially because we work a lot with hospitality brands where turnaround is really important. Um, and apart from that, building relationships, I think it's also about understanding beyond the brief, understanding the person giving the brief. When it comes to startups and founders, a lot of it is about a lot of like creating the communication is of course understanding the audience that it's directed to, but it's also understanding the ethos of the person and the company that they're looking to build. So going beyond the brief and understanding the people behind the product or company or service really is how we approach things.
That's such a thoughtful approach, Smita. Being accessible and going beyond the brief to truly understand the people and ethos behind a brand is such a powerful way to build trust and deliver meaningful work. It must create a deeper connection with your clients. Can you share a memorable project or client story that really stood out for you and your team?
Sure. I think one that comes to mind is um, when we had one particular project where it was a real estate a company where there was a developer and they were having a construction or development project that was going to span a long time. So they wanted the facade area that was facing a highway to have an interesting creative on it that wouldn't get sort of tired with time because it was supposed to be up there for some months at least. So they wanted that when people are passing by, it's just always a sort of dynamic and refreshing look to the creative. At the same time, because it was external, it had to be something that weathered the environment well and also was sort of pilfer proof in a way, so people wouldn't, nothing digital and screen based that people would damage or the environment would damage or things that would get stolen. So yeah, that was the brief we were given, and I think what the client found interesting was there were a few agencies pitching for this, and when we went back with questions, we went back with a question that the client said nobody else came with, and the question we had was for that facade, what was the wind direction that it was landing in. So they said, okay, nobody's asked us about wind direction, why are you asking? And we said, don't worry, when we're done with you'll see why. And they told us, and what happened was the wind direction was such that we realized that we could use the wall in such a way that the design we created was a series of pinwheels on the facade, and the pinwheels constructed a design with colors and using a light material, which was also cheap to source, which is aluminum. So using aluminum pinwheels, whenever the wind would blow in that particular direction, the windmills or the pinwheels would move, and so the design itself was dynamic and so not boring or getting tired over time. And the aluminum was something that was good to weather rain, dust, sun, all of that. And so the result was something that was really beautiful, cost effective, and utilizing the wind that naturally flowed in a particular direction with context with the facade itself. So yeah, that was something that stands out, and I think the client really appreciated.
Wow, Smita, that's such an incredible story. The creativity and thoughtfulness your team brought to that project are truly impressive. Asking about the wind direction and turning it into a dynamic, cost effective, and weather resistant design is pure genius. It's such a great example of how you go beyond the brief to deliver something unique and impactful. How did your team feel after pulling off such an innovative solution?
Well, the reward is always in seeing your work actually implemented and out there in the world, and seeing other human beings interact with it, seeing it touch lives. I think that's what brings joy to the team.
That's so beautifully said, Smita. Seeing your work come to life and make an impact must be incredibly fulfilling for your team. It's clear that Smitten is driven by passion and purpose. As you look ahead, what's next for Smitten? Any exciting plans or
Uh,
goals on the horizon?
Well, we like giving birth to new brands and companies, and me as a founder myself, I think I'm slowly stepping into being a serial entrepreneur because there's a new company that I'm just in the process of soft launching with a few other friends and partners. It's an event management company called MCE, Master of Ceremonies Events, and we have our first client event tomorrow, actually. So looking forward to that.
That's exciting, Smita. Launching a new venture like Master Ceremonies Events sounds like a thrilling next step. Congratulations on your first client event tomorrow. It must be an exciting time for you and your partners. How do you balance your time and energy between Smitten and this new venture?
I think I balance my time between them by also making sure that I have a life outside of these things that sort of keep the creative juices flowing and keep the energy high. And that is, I'm a long distance runner and an aerialist. So I make sure that I have time for hobbies like that are sort of parallel skills that develop both fitness and creative thinking. And I think that's the same in the culture of the team as well. Everybody has varied interests that they full-fledgedly follow and pursue outside of work. So I think that's the way we maintain balance.
That's such a healthy and inspiring approach, Smita. Long distance running and diving must be incredible outlets for both physical and mental rejuvenation. It's great to hear that you encourage the same balance for your team, fostering creativity and well being. As we wrap up, what advice would you give to aspiring founders who are just starting their entrepreneurial journey?
I don't know if I'm in a position to give advice because I feel like everybody's journey is different and context matters. But one thing that I feel is a common approach that probably helps is to be willing to launch even if things are not absolutely perfect, and be willing to learn as you go along and pivot if need be. So not being stuck to your idea to such an extent that you're not willing to listen to feedback and pivot quickly and fast. If need be. So yeah, that's I think what I'd say.
That's fantastic advice, Smita. Launching without waiting for perfection and staying open to feedback and pivoting are such valuable lessons for any founder. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, insights, and stories with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Best of luck with Master Ceremonies events and your first client event tomorrow.
Thank you. It was lovely to be on.
Thanks for tuning in to the Founder Show. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a like and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us grow our community. Are you a startup founder or know someone who is? We'd love to hear your story. Head over to Founder Show and sign up to be featured on our podcast. Until next time, keep dreaming big and making it happen.